good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot, back with you again, and this is an extra video this week. I got this scenery, thought we'd have a look. It's not expensive, and it'd be something for you helicopter pilots to have a look at. We are in the North Sea at the moment, and this is one of the Heerema oil rigs. We're sat in my Bell 4407 Jet Ranger helicopter, and what I've done is I've set the season to June, so you get plenty of light, and we've sort of upped the wind slightly so you get the nice sea effect. So the Heerema oil rigs for Flight Simulator 2020. This is a payware scenery by Skyline Simulations, and this is version 1 for the PC version of Flight Simulator 2020. Download is a measly 49.89 megs, so just under 50 megs. And it installs at 109 megs. And for this you get two oil rigs. You get one in the North Sea, the one we're looking at now, and you can use the code HMCNS in the Flight Simulator menu to get to it. And one in the Caribbean Sea, and you can use HNCP, Hotel November Charlie Papa, to get to the Caribbean version. It's available from Sim Market, and the price €7.80, which equates to $8.46 US, or £6.83 UK. As ever, the US and UK prices are all estimates from the euro, and they include tax or VAT, which may vary depending on your country where you of purchase. So let's look at the features. You've got a detailed helipad, designed with detailed technical drawings and ultra-high definition custom textures using the latest painting techniques. So you've got super 3D detailed modelling, PBR materials obviously used everywhere, hard service for all heli landings, platform waves movement, amazing night system, and a crane animation. Okay, so history. I'm going to give you some history of the North Sea oil situation, and then we'll look at the Caribbean oil rigs, but I'm not going to bore you with history on that. I live in the UK, so it might be useful for you to find out this. So North Sea oil is a mixture of hydrocarbons comprising liquid petroleum and natural gas, produced from petroleum reservoirs beneath the North Sea. In the petroleum industry, the term North Sea often includes areas such as the Norwegian Sea and the area known as West of Shetland, the Atlantic frontier or the Atlantic margin that is not geographically part of the North Sea. Brent crude is still used today as a standard benchmark for pricing oil, although the contract now refers to a blend of oils from fields in the northern North Sea. Commercial extraction of oil on the shores of the North Sea dates back to 1851, when James Young retorted oil from a substance called torbanite, mined in the Midland Valley of Scotland. Across the sea in Germany, oil was found in the Weitz field near Hanover in 1859, leading to the discovery of 70 more fields, mostly in lower Cretaceous and Jurassic reservoirs, producing a combined total of around 8,400 barrels a day. Following the 1958 Convention on the Continental Shelf, and after some disputes on the rights to natural resource exploitation, the national limits of the exclusive economic zones were ratified. 5 countries are involved in oil production in the North Sea. All of them operate a tax and royalty licensing regime. The respective sectors are divided by median lines, agreed in the late 1960s. Gas was found by chance in a water well near Hamburg in 1910, leading to the minor gas discoveries in the Zechstein Dolomites elsewhere in Germany. In England, British Petroleum, or BP, discovered gas in similar reservoirs in the X-Gale anticline in 1938, and in 1939 they found commercial oil in Carboniferous rocks at Eakring in Nottinghamshire. Discoveries elsewhere in the East Midlands lifted production to around 2,500 barrels per day, and a second wave of exploration from 1953 to 1961 found the Gainsborough field and 10 smaller fields as well. The UK Continental Shelf Act came into force in May 1964. British Petroleum's Sea Gem rig struck gas in the West Salt field in September 1965. The celebrations were short-lived, however, since the Sea Gem sank with a loss of 13 lives after part of the rig collapsed as it was moved away from the discovery well. However, in December 1969, Phillips Petroleum discovered oil in chalk of Danyan age at Ekofisk in the Norwegian waters in central North Sea. The same month, Amoco discovered the Montrose field about 135 miles or 217 kilometres east of Aberdeen. The original objective of the well had been to drill for gas to test the idea that the southern North Sea gas province extended to the north. However, Amoco were astonished when the well discovered oil. BP had been awarded several licenses in the area in the second licensing round in 1965, but had been reluctant to work on them. But the discovery of the Ekofisk prompted them to drill what turned out to be a dry hole in May 1970, followed by the discovery of the giant Forties oil field in October 1970. The following year, Shell Expo discovered the giant Brent oil field in the northern North Sea east of Shetland in Scotland, and the Petronord Group discovered the Friggs gas field. The Piper oil field was discovered in 1973, and the Stratfjord field and the Ninian field in 1974, with the Ninian reservoir consisting of Middle Jurassic sandstones at a depth of 9,800 feet or 3,000 metres subsea. So there you go, something of a little bit of a history of the North Sea oil discovery. There's lots of it still going on, and there's loads more oil apparently still to be discovered. Obviously things are changing now in the UK and many countries in terms of climate change and whether or not oil will still become a force for reckoning in the future. So no runways, of course. But what we will do is have a close look at this rig. Let's first look at the helipad. So we start with the little tour here. We'll start with the helipad. Here we are on the North Sea oil rig, and you can see my Bell 407 Jet Ranger sitting on the pad. What I can say about this rig is that the modelling is lovely. It is very nice, and the texturing is good. You can see here from here. It's really beautiful. And you can see you've got red lights. What I'm going to do just very quickly is drop the lighting down so you can see the way it's lit, which is really quite nice. So here we are, 10:30 in the evening. Remember, it's summer, and we're out in the North Sea, so as you go further north the daylight stays for longer. But here you can see the helipad in all its glory with the lighting, which I think is really beautiful. And here's another view of the pad, same time, and as you can see there's a glow on the water. I'm not sure if that is an effect that shouldn't be there or whether it actually should be there. I mean, it looks quite nice, and obviously as you're going into the pad, if you see this in the sea, I mean, it's quite helpful. So here's the rig seen from the other side. There's the helipad, of course. I mean, the whole thing looks nice. I mean, the lighting is lovely. It's very, very impressive. Let's get a little bit closer to the actual cabin part of it. Here's a nice shot showing you the cabin where all the people live and sleep and work and everything. There you can see the animated crane. I mean, the animation's nice, but it really doesn't do very much except just move left and right. So as an animation it's okay, but it's nothing to write home about. But here you can see the detail and the texturing, and the modelling is really, really nice. And here you can see doors that are open on various sides of the cabin. And here, looking at the side of the rig, again you can see some really nice detail. There's no internal development inside the buildings as such, but the outside is very, very nicely modelled. So here we are looking at the crane deck. You know, it's wonderful. It's really nice. So let's switch it back to daytime. So as you can see, here's the same view in the daytime. It's midday in the summer, and it looks very nice. And there's the view from the other side. The only thing that kind of I frown at when I look at this little scenery project is the lack of people. They've done such a wonderful job putting this rig together in the way that they have. Looks fantastic. It's a very, very nice piece of scenery. But there's a total absence of workers. I mean, the top of this place should be filled with people, you know, doing different things. A couple of animated workers would really make this, turn this into something of a completely ambient and atmospheric little piece of scenery. Visually, it's really good. Development is really good, but just no people. And the crane animation's nice, but again, it doesn't do much. But you know, those are just my thoughts. We'll see whether maybe there might be a version 1.2. We'll see. Okay, so before we go to the Caribbean and have a look at that rig, let's drop the lighting down to night time. Okay, 10 past 11 in the evening, and as you can see, the sun's almost gone. And here's the same view. I mean, the rig is beautifully lit. Very, very nice. The helipad there looks pretty impressive with the helicopter on it. And there you can clearly see the H reflecting off the water now. So perhaps that's not an anomaly. I think that's maybe part of the scenery. There's a close-up view of the pad with a helicopter on it. And there just below to the left down here you can see the emergency escape pods, which are used in case of fire or any major emergency on the rig. And once again a look on this side of the rig. Okay, as we get into the darkness now you can see, okay, this looks a bit bright, but maybe it's meant to be that way. And to be honest, it doesn't really spoil the effect. It's still a really nice looking piece of scenery. But you know, looking at it, I just can't help thinking that we need people. We need oil rig workers, and there aren't any. But other than that, it's a really lovely piece of scenery. So there you go. That's the North Sea rig of Heerema Industries with my helicopter on the pad. A really beautiful sight, and it's a really nice piece of modelling. Got nothing more to say, nothing bad to say about the modelling and the scenery itself. It's just lacking any workers. So there you go for the moment. Right, let's pop over to the Caribbean, as we can do, and have a look at that rig. Okay, it's 10 past 5 in the morning, and here we are in the southern Caribbean. We're actually just north of Panama, and here's the Caribbean rig, which surprisingly enough is exactly the same as the other rig in the North Sea. I kind of had hoped for a bit of difference. Maybe there is. I can't see anything different as such. It looks exactly the same. However, we'll have a look anyway. The nearest airfield to this rig from the land is Enrique Adolfo Jiménez, Mike Papa Echo Juliet. That's the nearest airfield, and it's about 65 miles away, so it's about an hour. It's about a 50-minute flight by helicopter. Anyway, let's have a close look at the rig. So once again, there's the helipad, nicely lit up. Here's our escape boats down at the bottom there. And here's a close-up of the cabins, and as you can see from this view, you can see a bit better now. We've got doors open here. I did manage to get inside here. You can't very easily. And the inside actually is modelled, but there's nothing in there. It's a shell, but it's modelled. I don't know, it would be nice to see a version 2 of this. Maybe if they could to make alterations to the two rigs so they're actually different. And it really, really needs people. I'm sorry, but it really needs engineers and people working on the rig just to bring it to life. It's a lovely little scenery. It's a really good idea. And great for the helicopter jockeys. And I include myself in that. But no people, no ambience, no atmosphere. That's a real pity. But again, the same detail looks really good. You know, the modelling. I mean, you know, look at this. You've got the, you know, the rust and everything on the outside. It's been beautifully done. The texturing is top notch. I really can't argue with that. I don't know what else they could do with the crane, but it'd be nice to see something a bit more than just a little bit of swaying one side to the other. I don't know. So once again, there's the rig deck, and it looks really, really nice. Let's go up to the daytime. So here we are, the same view. It's now 12 o'clock midday, and it's nice, you know. Again, you can see the shadow of the crane looks really good. And here's a view looking straight forward from the stern, and you can see, I mean, just look at the weathering here. This has been beautifully done. It's hard to criticize this. Okay, it's a little niche scenery product, and I get that it, I don't know, probably won't be a massive seller, I don't know. I think the price is really nice. I think it's beautifully done, to be honest. But it really does need people. It really needs to come to life a bit more than it does. So a closer look at the deck, and as you can see, I mean, it's just great, it's lovely. Everything down to the water drip stains here. I mean, this is a stunning piece of work, really. I get a close-up view here of the static crane, everything from the ladders, the turning circle here. You got an open door here and here. You know, the modelling is top-notch. I really can't argue with it. It's fantastic. So once again, we'll drop the lighting down to night time. So here we are at 7 PM in the Caribbean. The night time drops pretty quickly, even though it's like June, midsummer. You need to go further north in order for the light to stay quite a long time, like it does here in the UK. But here in the Southern Caribbean, the light fades pretty fast. So at 7 PM, this is the view. It's night time. And as with the other North Sea rig, you can see exactly the same beautifully night lighting on the pad and around the rig itself. Nice to see the top of the cranes lit as well. For aviation terms, you know, structures over 300 feet do have to be lit with a red warning light. And here you can easily see, although it could be fun trying to land here at night. But anyway, very nice. And once again, the view from the other side here, showing that H in the water. I love the waves, and just it looks great. Okay, 5:15 in the morning. We're still in the Caribbean rig, and time to give you my thoughts on this. Okay, first of all, it's a lovely little scenery. It's a bit of a niche scenery. Be great for you helicopter pilots, and for me. One of the things I will do at some point is maybe fly out to this rig, do a little video on it. Since the nearest airport's only 60 miles away, it's only going to be like a 55-minute flight in the Bell, and we'll see if we can make a landing on the pad. It's a lovely little scenery. 2 oil rigs, one in the North Sea, one in the Panama, or the Caribbean Sea, just north of Panama. And they're both beautifully modelled. The modelling and the detailing is stunning. I have absolutely no arguments with that. But, you know, sorry guys, it's missing people. You've got an oil rig out here, you've got people living and working on this rig, and there's no sign of anybody. For me, if you're going to do an update, that would be the next thing. I can't for the moment think of it's going to go mad with the frame rates. We've seen other sceneries far more extensive than this, where they've added animated and static people, and it hasn't sort of caused any frame rate issues at all. So I'm sure this could be done. So for a version 1.2 or 1.3, whatever you want to call it, this needs oil workers on it. It really does. Animations are nice. The crane animation's okay, but it's fairly basic, doesn't really do much. Be nice to, for example, to see, okay, you've got the crane going left and right. What about maybe having the weight going up and down, and a couple of workers there catching it as it comes down or something? I don't know. But it would be nice to see some people on this rig to bring it to life, and the one in the North Sea. But no, a lovely, really nice piece of work at a very nice price. And if you're into this sort of thing or looking for something different, this could be just could be it. So there you go, folks. Heerema oil rigs for Flight Simulator 2020. One in the North Sea and one in the Caribbean Sea, just north of Panama. This is a payware scenery by Skyline Simulations, and currently this is the release version 1. For the PC version of Flight Sim 2020. Downloads just under 50 meg and it stalls at 109 meg, so it's not massive. Currently available from SimMark, and it's priced at €7.80, which equates to roughly $8.46 US, or £6.83 UK. As ever, US and UK prices are estimates from the euro, and they do include tax or VAT, which of course could vary depending on what country you're in when you buy it. As I said, available from Sim Market. It's very nice. We could have fun with this, but if the developer's watching, please consider adding some people. Would really bring this to life. So there you go, folks. This is Lee, your virtual airline pilot. Today we're helicopter pilot, wrapping up this review. It's been a bit of an ad hoc review, so I apologise if the editing's a bit here and there, but I just wanted to get a look at this and showcase it, because I think it's really nice. It has loads of potential, but it needs people. So there you go, guys. Thanks for joining me. Hope the video has been useful. Hope it's been fun, and I hope at some point I will do a flight out of here. So take care. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.